So I'm sure a lot of you have seen the feud that has been going on between the Daily Wire and then the host of Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder. And I don't really want to say that I don't have a side, because I do have a side, I guess. But I think it's reached a point where it's important to talk about what is going on between these two conservative media outlets. And I would recommend everybody go do what I did. I listened to Crowder's take and his pushback against the Daily Wire. He doesn't specifically say it's the Daily Wire, but we all kind of know who he's talking about. And then I went and listened to one of the owners of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring. I listened to him give a breakdown of the document of the contract that he sent Steven Crowder. I'm not going to go through everything that the contract said, because I'm not good with contract negotiations. I'm not good with all the legalese. And I feel like that Jeremy Boring does a better job of explaining it than I would. So I would definitely go listen to both sides of it, which is what I did. And from what I can understand, the whole situation started with Steven Crowder essentially becoming a free agent. And he was getting a wide variety of different offers from different platforms because he didn't have any outstanding contracts with the platform he had been on or anyone else. So he was getting offers from various different platforms trying to get him to bring his show onto their platform. And the Daily Wire, being one of the biggest conservative outlets, sent him in an offer. And Crowder was so disturbed by the contents of the document that he felt obligated to go out and kind of silently bash the Daily Wire. And the reason I say silently is because he never really specifically names the Daily Wire, but we all know who he's talking about. And that's why the Daily Wire released a statement in opposition to what Crowder was saying. And this isn't one of those things where it's simply a disagreement, because even amongst people that you have a lot in common with, people where you stand on the same political side as them, conservatives, liberals, whatever, you are not going to agree on everything, whether it's politically, morally, spiritually, whatever it is. Even people that you are super close to and you share a lot of the same beliefs, you're not going to agree 100% on every single thing. And that's okay. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to have opinions. It's okay to have debates. But there's a difference between having a difference of opinion and then going out of your way to say something that is truly damaging to what that other person is trying to do. And it's especially damaging when it doesn't seem to be true, where the claims that you are making, they don't really hold any relevance because they don't appear to be true. And I think this is one of those examples where he's saying something, he's trying to stir the pot a little bit, but what he's saying doesn't really make a lot of sense. What Crowder has said in response to the Daily Wire's offer, it's very weird, and I think damaging to what the Daily Wire is trying to do based upon the claims that Crowder is making about them. If you go and listen to his video, if you go and listen to his response, he basically says that the Daily Wire is in bed with big tech, and they are essentially doing the bidding of big tech within conservative media. That's not just a difference of opinion. That is a harmful statement. That is a harmful statement that can undermine what a successful company is trying to do, what a successful conservative company is trying to do. To go as far as to imply that the Daily Wire is in bed with big tech is quite the claim. And what makes the claim even more astonishing is that there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it's actually the exact opposite. That the Daily Wire has fought against big tech every step of the way. And a criticism that conservatives have, or an observation that conservatives have, is that the left and the liberals, they control every major institution. They control the news, they control Hollywood, they control social media, they control all of these major institutions. What are conservatives going to do to fight against that? Well, the Daily Wire, they've been producing their own content for years now, with Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Candace Owens and all those people. They're creating alternatives to mainstream left-wing news. They create their own movies, they create their own TV shows, and they're doing this all in opposition of big tech. And this kind of claim that's coming from Crowder is very odd because they have gone to bat for him. And not only have they gone to bat for him, they have gone to bat for a lot of other people who have suffered at the hands of big tech. Just look at people like Crowder, they've gone to bat for. People like Gina Carano, they've gone to bat for. People like Jordan Peterson, they've gone to bat for. People that have been unjustly canceled, censored, fired by big tech for their beliefs. The Daily Wire has reached out to them. They've gone up to bat for them. They have fought for them. They've called out big tech over and over again for how they treat people. And then for you, who the Daily Wire has fought for, to come out and say that, oh, well, they're actually in bed with big tech. That's an astonishing claim to make. And I don't know if it's just part of Crowder trying to stir the pot a little bit. He's trying to, he created a movement, Stop Big Con. Are there conservatives out there who aren't what they say or aren't what they appear to be? Sure, I'm sure there are. But I don't believe the Daily Wire is one of them. I don't believe that the Daily Wire is some kind of sleeper cell for big tech, and everything that they're doing is actually in opposition to your values and to your beliefs and to America as a whole. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because there's a lot of evidence to suggest that they are doing the exact opposite, and that is fighting for freedom of speech, fighting for this country, and trying to give people a real alternative to what big tech is trying to produce. And going back to what I was saying earlier, I know we're not going to agree on everything. I know people have differences of opinion, and that's okay. But can we really afford to undermine what conservatives are doing because we have a difference in opinion on how a business should work? Do we really think that we should destabilize what conservatives are doing because of differences of opinion? Is that really worth it? I don't think it is. I don't think it is over, maybe over business decisions or small and petty things. I don't think it's good for us to undermine each other, to undermine different conservative voices. And one of the ways that we're going to win is by supporting one another. That doesn't mean you can't ever disagree. That doesn't mean that you can't ever have a difference of opinion. That doesn't mean you can't ever win or lose a debate or have a debate. But to essentially call an ally an enemy, that they are in fact, in reality, an enemy and no different than big tech. And they are actually, and that the Daily Wire is actually doing big tech's bidding. That is something that is truly damaging. And I do not agree with Steven Crowder on that. I don't believe the Daily Wire is essentially the conservative version of big tech. I believe the Daily Wire is one of the most influential conservative voices out there, and most of the things that they do are positive. And I don't believe that they deserve to be slammed the way that Steven Crowder has slammed them.